Hello, everybody, and welcome into the Mountaineer Postgame Show. I'm Schuyler Callihan. That's Eugene. Napoleon, West Virginia, victorious once again. Man, Gene, this is quite a different feeling here these past 2 weeks. West Virginia getting another win, their second straight, the first time all season that they've won two straight games, taking down Colorado 29-22. We'll get into our thoughts here in just a second, but as always, a look here at the numbers. True freshman quarterback Scotty Fox goes 17 of 28 for 202 yards, a touchdown, and two picks. Dewar Hubbard led the way on the ground, 64 yards on 16 carries. Scotty Fox also had 58 yards on the ground as well. A couple of key runs from him. And then on the other side, the other true freshman quarterback in this game, Juju Lewis. We talked about him all week. An outstanding performance, just 1 yard shy of 300, two touchdowns for him. And, G, let's start there with the two freshmen. Let's start first, actually, with Juju, because we mentioned that this kid's talented. He threw for over 10,000 yards in 3 years of high school ball. He should be a senior right now. And
Right.
I made the joke there at the end, like, hey, how many times have we seen a young freshman quarterback make his first or second start or whatever and just go off and throw for 300 yards? Well, here he is, 1 yard shy of that mark. So I got to say, tip of the hat to him. That offense looked completely different with him there. I think they found their answer.
Well, I told you, he can make every throw. He can make
Oh,
every
yeah.
throw. He's a smart kid. And the thing is with him is he makes quick decisions. And you don't expect that typically out of a true freshman, but he's a very, very good quarterback. And I'm gonna tell you, he's putting college football on notice that he's gonna be here for a while. And there's a lot of good things Coach Prime should be happy about with him at the helm. He looked good today, but listen, pump your brakes a little bit. Just
It's
pump your
one start.
brakes.
Yeah, I mean, as we noticed with Scotty, that first game against TCU, we were still pumping the brakes. We wanted to see it happen. We saw it against Houston. And then this week, we'll get to that here in just a sec. But also for Juju, I wanted to say the way he kept some of those plays alive and extended plays with his feet. We told you he wasn't going to wow you with his legs and run away from people, but he can extend plays. He did that all day, it seemed like, and kept, I don't know, 7 or 8 seconds at times where he had to throw. But hats off to him. Defensively, let's go to the defense here before we get into Scotty. It just feels like a boom or bust type of defense right now, Gene. I don't know if you get that same feeling or not, but it's like you get the early momentum, you have a couple of stops, then you give up some explosive plays, you kind of let Colorado hang around, and then the first drive of the second half, we talked about it right here before we hopped on air. They convert that third down, and it's like, oh boy, they're about to go right down the field and score after you just went three and out. And Derek Carter comes in with the peanut punch and pretty much bails out the defense. And I mean, we can't predict what was going to happen, but the way things were going, it kind of looked like Colorado was going to go down there and score. It just feels like there's too much boom or bust with this defense right now. How do you eliminate that? How do you become more consistent and not allow those big plays to happen? 13 explosives today for Colorado.
Well, again, listen, there has to be a lot going on in terms of the communication of what's being relayed to the defense. I believe there's some, obviously those big type of plays, there's some mental errors. There's some MAs that obviously, there's some blown coverages, obviously there's some missed tackles. I got a text from a good friend of mine who was saying, he was like, listen, hey, I'm rooting for the Mountaineers, but they're not a good football team. You know what I mean? And my fingers, I wanted, well, listen, first year, Rich Rod's back. We gotta build on some things. But to your point, it's too much of a inconsistent at the times when you need them to be consistent. And that's my worry. You're not going to win big games when your defense plays the way that we're playing. We're too inconsistent in times when we need to be consistent. And that's a problem. So, those big plays today are eye-popping big plays.
Yeah.
And no disrespect to Colorado. If you're playing against a much better team, you don't win games like that if you're playing against a much better opposition.
Yeah, and really, that's been two straight weeks where I don't know if I would go as far as saying that the turnovers completely bailed out the defense and the team as a whole. But last week, you forced four turnovers. That really helped you win that game. This week, who knows if that doesn't happen and they go down and score, maybe it's a slightly different result. Who knows? But yeah, you've got to find some more consistency there. Now going over to Scotty Fox. He ended the day with 202 yards, as I mentioned. The two interceptions, which I think they were both freshman mistakes. Now we go back to the first half. He played a clean game. He was 9 of 13, over 100 some yards. Looked really dialed in sync, just like we had seen him the previous 2 weeks. But then you get that little freshman moment, right? And today he had two of them. The first one, fourth down, you're rolling to your right. You never throw across your body back into the middle of the field. That is the biggest no-no in all of quarterback play, right, Gene? You cannot do that. And he
Yeah,
did it. I get his fourth down. He's trying to make something happen. But honestly, if I'm him, I don't think I'm probably not going to get the first down with my legs, but I'd probably rather try that than to throw it
yeah,
across my body. He's lucky that that thing didn't get returned for much bigger yardage or maybe all the way to the house, because when that happens and you have all those bodies on that side of the field, big
yeah.
bad things can happen for your offense. The second interception, the right guard, Kimo Makanele, got knocked back, got beat on a one-on-one, had pressure in his face. I don't know if he tipped the ball. It kind of looked like he did, but I couldn't see for sure. And Scotty just still decided to throw the ball. Again, when you see that pressure coming at you, that ball's either got to get out a tick faster or you
Yep.
just pull it down, take it for what it is, and live to see another day. But he ended the day 5 of 8 for 32 yards after those two picks. Much, much better to see him settle down and not let those two interceptions rattle him.
Absolutely. But again, two freshman mistakes.
That can't
And that's
happen.
the thing.
That's too many.
That's true. But that's the thing about living and dying with a freshman quarterback. You're going to have those plays where week in and week out, if he's clean for 75% of the ball game and you have a mistake here and there, I'll live with that
Yeah.
because that's living with freshman mistakes. But to your point, he still played better after the second pick, which to me, that means he has a short memory. And you have to have that. Yeah, I don't care if you're a freshman, sophomore, junior, or senior playing that position at QB, you have to have a short memory, which he does. He'll be fine. He'll be fine. He'll settle in. He'll be fine. But, throwing across your body, I know he knows this. I know he wish he could have that back. You
Yep.
know, Warner, you don't throw across your body.
Yeah.
You
You
know,
learned that from the first day you put pads on.
absolutely, absolutely.
But I mean, still, I mean, to go for 202, make some key decisions, some big throws. Obviously, the one to Dior Hubbard on the wheel route was a thing of beauty. 69 yards, just dropped it on the dime. I still, I don't know that I ever worried that Rich was going to put in another quarterback, but you never know with Rich. Like if he feels like there needs to be a change, he doesn't mind to switch quarterbacks. And I'm glad to see that he's stuck with Scotty after the two picks, because this is a vote of confidence right here for him, right? If you have those two interceptions happen, it could have been very easy for Rich Rod to say, I'm getting a little nervous here. Let's see, let's go to somebody else because I don't want that to happen again. If I'm Scotty, I'm thinking, man, after all the quarterback roulette they've been playing all year, this is my head coach saying, I believe in you. I trust in you to bounce back and go on and make the plays. And he did. So absolutely huge the way he finished that game. Going to the offensive line here to round things out. Gene, I mean, I don't know. I mean, the right side of that line is a head scratcher. And for
Yeah,
whatever reason, they decide to go back to McInally at right guard instead of Walter Youngbear. And that disrupted, I think, maybe some of what they were trying to build last week. And I get
absolutely.
Rich is about whoever gets, who gets the starting nod is dependent on what happens in practice. But again, you found answers last week. Why disrupt it? Like, I don't understand that. And McInally was the reason that second interception happened, as we talked about. He was also the one that just got completely beat on a one-on-one situation on the first drive of the game that Scotty got sacked on. So I'm not going to completely throw the blame at him, but interesting decision there. And then also Colorado, we mentioned in the preview show on the game day show that they were 132nd in the country in rushing yards allowed, 215 per game. Gene, Mountaineers only averaged 3.2 yards a carry. Pretty concerning.
No, that's huge concerns because listen, this is a type of game, like I said, it's that day when you have a defense that's not good against the run. Today was a day where you go in and you automatically say we have to run for 200 yards on the ground or more.
Yeah.
That's what we're going to do. and we're going to take some pressure off our young quarterback. And that didn't happen. Now, there's a few things. Look, the one thing about a Coach Prime team, as you well know, they're prideful. They're
Yeah.
prideful. And I'm sure making that long trek from Colorado to Morgantown, you know, I'm sure Dion probably thought, well, we may not win this ball game, right? But I tell you what, they're not going to run the ball down our throats. I tell you that. I mean, I'm almost sure I can hear him saying all week, preaching it all week. I know what we are on defense against the run, and
Yeah.
the whole country knows what we are against the run. But I tell you what, they won't be running the ball for 250 plus yards against us. And you saw that because of the different schemes the different things they was doing up front to make sure that we didn't run the ball for 2 plus. Hats off to him. But
Yeah.
I am concerned. We got to do a much better job up front because again, when you play against teams that have a much better defensive front and a linebacker core, we have to be ready. We have to be able to punch the ball down your throat for at least 4.5 to 4.85 yards a carry. We have to be able to do that to sustain a good running game and a balance in our offense.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. And, again, that shuffling along the offensive line, I'm sure doesn't help the situation. But yeah, against a team like that, you've got to find a way to make hay. And, I'll say this to round things out and get your thoughts too. I know this is going to sound really crazy, but I think I'm more impressed by this win than I was last week's win against Houston. Why? Because you just came off a big time win on the road. You're coming back home. It's the same situation that we were talking about last week for Houston, who went on the road, beat Arizona State, come back home for an early game against a two-win team. This week, it's the same thing for West Virginia. It's a three-win team that you're seeing, an early kick. You just came off a big win. It wasn't pretty, and you still found a way. You had your freshman quarterback make two critical freshman mistakes, yet you still found a way. When he got down to the end, the little things matter. Recovering that onside kick, forcing the field goal before the onside kick was huge. And then at the end of the game, too, Colorado still had two timeouts. You still had to get the first down. Offensive line didn't do much all day, but when it came down to when you needed it, they got the first down and sealed the game, not giving Colorado a chance to get the ball back. That's why, I mean, to me, that was a more impressive win because you still found ways when it was ugly and you had all the reason in the world to kind of have a little bit of a flat spot. That's just my thinking.
No, I agree with you. Listen, for me, a win is a win is a win. I'm not that guy that's in, oh, well, we had to blow them out. Look, when you check, when you go and you look in the W or L column,
Yeah, that's what matters.
yeah, that's what matters. Okay, I don't care how we won. The thing is, it's different when you're playing against a ball club that you're going to play against a Colorado team that is decently coached. They don't have all the answers with their players, but at this point in the season, Scholar, nobody does. You
Yeah.
understand what I'm saying to you? Even so, to get a win like this and the fight back after two crucial mistakes, to your point, I will take that. It just goes to show you that this ball club is not going to give up. And guess what's so crazy? Quietly, they won 2 games in a
Oh,
row.
hey, bump those brakes now. Don't you dare say it out loud.
I know, I know. Look.
Yeah, don't say that B word and then the one other
See,
word that starts with an E after that. Well, you know what that is.
yeah.
But
I won't
hey,
say it.
hey, you're right though. You're staying alive. You're taking it one game at a time, and once again, another hats off to Mountaineer Nation, man. I mean, you're talking about a noon kickoff, a three-win team. I get you just had a huge ranked win last week, but still, we're getting into November here, and it's the end of the year, and you're not really playing for much. And once again, they packed out the stadium. They made a difference, made an impact, and showed up again. So hats off to the fans. So taking a look here at the road ahead, and there's not much of one here, Gene, but there's 2 games left. One more road trip, and that's next week in Tempe to face Arizona State, who are going to be without their starting quarterback Sam Levitt. It'll be Jeff Sims. Gotta like your chances a lot better against Sims than Levitt. So we'll see. Still going to be a tall task. Probably going to be double-digit underdog, but hey, you've done it already once. You've got a little momentum now.
So anything can happen.
Yeah.
Anything can happen.
Yeah. So Arizona State next week, and then they'll round things out against Texas Tech at home on the 29th. So you also have a bye week sandwiched in between there. So game next week against Arizona State, bye week, and then Texas Tech. So that's going to do it for us here on the Mountaineer Postgame Show. For Eugene, Napoleon, I'm Schuyler Callihan. We thank you guys for watching. Make sure to click that like and subscribe button here on our page at West Virginia on SI. I'll be back bright and early tomorrow morning for the morning after on Between the Ears. And then we'll also have episodes on Tuesday, Wednesday, and then the Walk Thru GameDay Show next Thursday, breaking down that matchup between the Sun Devils and West Virginia. Take care.